In part one, we talked about how dangerous burning typical wax candles are for your health. And in this video, I'm going to show you how easy it is to make beeswax candles, which can actually purify the air. But just to recap from part one, typical candles are made of paraffin wax, which is full of chemicals and toxins that once burned are some of the worst offenders for indoor air quality because they emit harmful levels of carcinogens, many with heavy metals like lead, and also put black soot into the air, which is wreaking havoc on our upper respiratory system, but have also been found to cause tumors in lab animals and are just as dangerous as secondhand smoke. Now 100% beeswax candles are all natural, have a honey scent, will burn longer, and can actually filter the air because they emit negative ions. Now, just so you understand the terms, because I know they're backwards, positive ions hold on to things like mold and mildew, germs, viruses, bacteria. They can hold on to pet dander and odor from foods, as well as viruses and bacteria, if I didn't mention that. And negative ions actually clamp to those and bring them down out of the air. Another thing that does this is the movement of water. So for example, when you're walking on the beach and the waves are crashing, that emits negative ions as well, which is why the air quality when you're walking on the beach feels so good. It's the same thing after a thunderstorm, they bring this down. Now, I'm going to show you how to use these candles, but just so you know how easy it is to make them, all you need is a pound of 100% beeswax. And I like to add a half a cup of coconut oil because this helps the candle to burn easier, and it helps prevent what's called tunneling, where you lose the wick inside the wax. Also the wicks, and you're going to want to get beeswax dipped wicks, and I like these hemp ones, but if you can't get those, get cotton. And I would avoid anything out of China because when I was reading the reviews, I have heard of people having different problems with wicks from there with black soot. But I'll have links for the ones that I like and that I've used before in the blog associated with this video. Now you're going to start out with a double boiler. Now this one's aluminum, but if you don't have one like this, you can use a mason jar. But I like this one because it has a pour spout, which is important when you're pouring the wax out. Melt a pound of beeswax in there first, then add the coconut oil. And then what you're going to do is take some of the melted wax and put it at the bottom of the glass jar and hold the wick there until it sticks. Now the whole trick here is to hold the wick straight while the wax solidifies. So you can use a couple of pencils or pour it in layers if you don't have enough pencils or pens, and then bend the wick off to the side so that the part that's in the candle stays in the center. Once it's dry, you can just cut the wick and you're all done. Now with the tea lights, you can cut the wick small at first, since that's much easier. Then just pour it in and let them sit and dry at room temperature. And don't worry, any mistakes you made, you can just remelt and start again. So if you lose the wick from tunneling like this one, then just remelt that in your next batch. Now it's really simple and very inexpensive to make these. Now when used properly, beeswax candles have been shown to help to reduce asthma, allergies, and hay fever by drawing the pollutants out of the air. Now you can let the candles burn any way you like because they look and smell pretty, but in order to use them to actually clean the air, what you're going to do is let them burn for at least 30 minutes in a draft-free environment. And the square footage is for every 200 square feet, you're going to want to have one candle. So for a 400 square foot room, you're going to have 2 of those. And while the candles are still burning, you're going to vacuum, preferably with a hypoallergenic vacuum with a HEPA filter, and dust as well. And the reason you're going to do that is because the negative ions don't actually wash away or make the positively charged ions disappear. It just brings them down to the ground. Whereas the rain will bring them down to the ground and wash it away. These candles just bring it down, and then you have to clean that up. So that's how to use them in order to help purify the air, because if you walk over them again, they can regain their positive charge and go back up into the air. So if you don't want to make them, be sure to buy 100% pure beeswax candles, as they can be called beeswax candles and still have paraffin in them, so you really want to avoid those. Now, don't forget to check out part 2 of this series, because I talk about air fresheners and cleaning products and perfumes and other things that damage the air quality as well, and how to protect yourself from those things also. Now, if you subscribe, they'll let you know when I post new videos on health and wellness. And for all things related mind, body, and spirit, don't forget to check out the blog at theartofunity.com. Good luck with this.